Hey guys, Kaveh Saidi here, back with another video. This one is going to be kind of a Q&A session, Q&A question and answer video, and also a thank you for helping me hit 3,000 subscribers. Thanks so much to all you who have subscribed to the channel and watched. Hit 3,000. Seemed to happen a little faster in the past couple months, and I've made the amount of money I made. You want to know? It is $1.96.
Wow.
So for the person who joined as a member, thank you so much. Don't have any membership content at this moment, but maybe that's something that will happen in the future. We're going to go ahead and start with a question from Nothing66. Shut up. That's your name. Awesome. Okay. Nothing66 says, okay, what do I do about right hand fatigue, primarily in the wrist and forearm? Is it just me having to build up strength or something with my technique wrong? It's like my hand, wrist tense up, everything's tense. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a silly answer. I would say don't do that. Don't tense up. One thing you could do when you're holding the bow, you're talking about your right hand. Okay, it's hard to know because I can't see you playing, I can't hear you playing. The first thing you should do, obviously, is take it to a teacher, take a private lesson, or if you have a classroom teacher, and it's me, maybe this is one of my students, come and ask. But you have to think about how you are, first of all, how you're holding the bow, but also how you're bowing. So if you are raising your shoulder too much, you might be crashing into the string a lot when you're playing. Another thing that might be wrong is that your elbow is too low and you're having to press into the string this way to get a sound, and you can tell it looks weird, and you're pressing with this finger. So this shoulder might be too high and you're pressing into the string that way, or your elbow's too low and your shoulder's too low and you're pressing here. So if the tension is here, I'll talk about that in a second, but obviously if the tension is here in your right arm, you're going to have to look at yourself in a mirror, think about the word relax while you're playing, and if the tension is here, and because you're pressing this way, you're going to have to lift, while keeping your shoulder low, lift up your elbow a little bit. Now, the angle that this should be is something like this, where the wrist, see where my little fake whoop strap is the wrist is a little bit higher than the elbow and the hand. The wrist is a little bit, not a lot. Now, there are variations to this, and depending whether you're on the E string or the G string, the elbow should be a little bit lower than the wrist. So imagine there's kind of a triangle here between your fingers, your wrist, and your elbow. And you're kind of putting your arm on your buddy's shoulder. Hey buddy, how's it going? That kind of thing. You want to be relaxed, like you're hanging out. But if you are looking like a hunchback, then there's a problem there. So if the tension's coming from here, you got to relax there. If the tension's coming from here, it could be your elbow's too low. And really the first thing I should have said is you're probably gripping too hard with your fingers. Now, when you hold the bow, you definitely need to bend your thumb. And that's not what a lot of people do who are tense. They straighten their thumb, and the thumb needs to be bent, and you need to pretend you're like holding a little birdie in your hand while you're playing. Or you're petting a horse. Or you're petting a bobcat or a tiger. Nice tiger. Don't bite me, tiger, while you're playing. Okay? So hopefully that helps. The last thing I would say is that a lot of beginners think that this frog is a handle, and it's not a handle to grab. So one thing you might try is moving away from the frog a little bit and actually putting your thumb on the actual thumb grip, or maybe even the winding here, and getting away from the frog and keeping your fingers curved. You want to see a hole there, and you want to hold this about as gently as picking up a pen or a pencil off of a table. So hopefully that helps you, and you can practice holding the bow super gently, like barely holding the bow at all. Just holding the bow enough so it doesn't fall out of your hand. Let's go ahead and look for another question here. We got a comment from Comfort Food Mama, and it says, I love practicing with this, referring to the top 7 major scales. It's actually fun to do my scales. Please make more like this. Yes, I'm planning to do more of these scale videos, which look like that. They have notation. They have me playing. They have a backing track. They also have a finger pattern. I want to do like more blues scales and pentatonic scales and little exercises that I write. But when I make a video like that compared to a video like I'm doing now, it's a lot more work to do that kind of a video. So it all depends when I have time to do it. So thank you so much for the nice comment. All right, we got a comment from Pashaho. Pashaho says, hi, I bought a Yamaha YEV 104 Black Star Mini Acoustic for amp, but it sounds bad. Do you still recommend Fishman for this violin at this price point? Some guy also recommended Boss Katana 50 watt wood violins, 10 watt, 10D, that means 10 watts. A 10 watt Yamaha THR, which is actually, I think they have a 10 watt version and a 30 watt version. So 60 watts and below, if you play electric violin, is not going to work for violin. And the other thing you need to think about when you play electric violin, and this is actually an electric violin I electrified with a pickup, is that you are plugging into guitar stuff, and guitar stuff is going to sound bad with electric violin. The best thing for you to do is to call Electric Violin Shop. There's one electric violin shop in the country, and it's in North Carolina, and I actually drove 8 to 10 hours to get there, and it was great experience, and they're very knowledgeable about what gear you should be plugging into. Now with the Yamaha YEV, which I've reviewed on this channel before, that's probably one of the best electric violins you can get for the money. It's like about $1,000, maybe even less. You would think if you play violin that $1,000 is a cheap violin, but the pickup on that is awesome. The design of it is amazing. The sound of it is the most natural sound on electric violin. Now, what you're plugging into matters. You need to plug into a Class A amplifier. Class A means top notch in terms of speaker, and the power going into that speaker must be 60 watts or greater, so you have some headroom, so you can turn it up without sounding harsh. Also, before that amp, it's got to be a guitar acoustic amplifier that can take a high impedance signal. Now, violin pickups are high impedance signals. They're very low output. So acoustic amplifiers, not katanas. THR, the 10 watt wood violin amp is a piece of junk. They're just, I don't want to comment more than that, but that's a piece of junk. So, the amp I love the most is the AER Alpha Plus. You can also get the AER Compact 60. You can also get some amps by Acoustic Image. It's called Acoustic Image. And you should call them. Get on the phone. You can't get all your information from the internet because you need to talk to people who know what they're talking about directly and ask specific questions, and they can steer you in the right direction. What I do now is I use a preamp, acoustic preamp, and a mini PA like this. And I made a video about that. You can watch that. It's about an hour long. Good luck. All right, we got a comment from I Am at Hogwarts. Great name. It says, thank you so much. I'm a true beginner. I bought a Cecilia MV300. I know that brand about a year ago. I haven't been playing very often, but the bow broke at the top. Well, that's not the violin, but the bow. Maybe I tightened it too much. Anyway, yeah, I appreciate your recommendation. Didn't want to spend too much. Yeah, okay. So cheapest, best bow is actually the bow I'm holding right now. Cheapest best, Fiddlerman carbon fiber violin. Hasn't broken. I bought 4 of them. We got one for free from Fiddler Shop. You can find it on Amazon. I'll put a link down below. I think it's like $68. And I use this for my wedding gigs. Very durable. Sounds good. It's not high end, but it's not bad at all. And I think if you played a wood bow that was about $1,000, it would compare to something like this $68 bow. Maybe a little less, like a $600 bow. All right. Fiddlerman carbon fiber bow. Now, the string tension, you want to see that when you tighten the bow that there's a curve going this way, like a reverse bridge, and that the width between the horsehair and the stick is about a pencil's width. This is actually a pen, so it's jamming in there. So about a pencil's width right there. So don't tighten the bow too much. If the hair looks like that, it's way too tight. Now, this has a reverse construction, so if it gets tighter, the horsehair actually goes this way. And I'm messing with this because this is a durable Fiddlerman carbon fiber bow. All right, good luck with that. Don't tighten your bow too much. Don't loosen it too much. You can loosen it when you put it in your case. All right, got a comment from Volpix. Been following along by myself. Every time I try this lesson, making sure my wrist is straight and everything, my shoulder hurts. Just holding the position of the fingers down, I'm assuming that's your left shoulder. Starting to wonder if I'm too small or I need to work on muscle strength before attempting to learn the violin. Now, the thing about violin playing and pretty much playing a sport or doing anything for the first time is that if you are tense, it's going to ruin it. So you don't need to be strong to play pickleball. You don't need to be strong to play the violin. And there are plenty of very small people like Midori, very short and skinny and one of the best violinists in the world that I shook her hand once because after a concert I met her. I was in the audience, not playing, but shook her hand, and I didn't want to. Her hand was so limp, when I shook it. I also didn't want to squeeze it because those are $1 million hands. You don't have to be strong to play the violin. So if you're experiencing tension, the first thing that I recommend doing is getting a private lesson with a teacher who can see what you're doing. I can't reach into the camera and see what you're doing, but obviously don't be tense. There's a few ways to be tense, is like kind of wiggle while you're playing to reset. You can also put, it's like a card, I got a flash card right here, or, piece of paper between your thumb and your a small piece of paper or a tissue between your thumb and the neck of the violin to make sure you're not squeezing. You should not be squeezing at any time when you're playing unless you're getting super intense and you want the music to sound that way. All right, good luck with that. That's a hard one. Tension is the enemy of beginner violin playing for sure. Thank you so much for that question. All right, we got a nice comment from Truthful Interrupt, and the name is cut off. You've helped me so much. Between you and the book, I've gone from knowing nothing about music to playing Ode to Joy and Can daily on the violin in 2 months. Holy cow. Ode to Joy in 2 months. That's great. And one little thing I want to mention before you go on in the book is that you need to be playing from memory. Like, you can play Ode to Joy from memory with your eyes closed, with people coughing, with your friend laughing at you or trying to mess you up, and you can play it so many different ways. You can play it while you're walking. You can play it from memory, no problem, before moving on. Now, it's not something I mention in those videos, but thank you for watching them. Don't be in a rush to move ahead if you're a beginner. You want to play really well on some very simple songs. You want to feel very relaxed like we talked about before. All right, moving on. Yeah, the last question I'm going to get to today is kind of a comment from, or suggestion from Vahid Barami. I said that right. I know I did. It'd be great if you could do book 3. I made 2 books worth of lessons, 1 lesson for every page of the book for the Essential Elements series, and book 3 didn't really get much love or time to shine in the higher positions in book 2. Book 3, like when I teach, and if I was going to teach a person privately, I might start them on Essential Elements, book 1, and the next book I actually use in private lessons is Suzuki book 1, because I like Essential Elements for the note reading and all the folk tunes in it. But I would probably start a student on Suzuki book 1, move to Suzuki book 2, and probably throw a scale book in there. Now, the thing is, you're talking about higher positions, and if that's getting advanced. If you're advancing, I don't know if you can learn that stuff from YouTube, because there's not a lot of content. Maybe I'll do some, but there's not a lot of content on that beginner to intermediate area for learning how to shift. The people that know have many degrees in music performance. These are people that play in your local symphony orchestra. These are people that are majored in music at your local universities, maybe are doing a master's. You want to take a lesson, a private lesson with an advanced teacher who plays and teaches for a living. And that's the best way you're going to get better at the higher positions. If you're at that level, you really need to kind of get off YouTube, in my opinion. Although YouTube's good for inspiration, it's good for entertainment, it's good as a supplement. You got to get somebody looking at how you're playing and working with you to cut to the chase faster than you sifting through 1,000 videos and really not finding much. But I'll try to do something on that subject in the future. So this is kind of a fun hang. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget, I got a lot more down below. These are lessons, these are gear reviews, these are original music videos that I made with cameras and editing software and lighting that I did myself, and wrote the music and recorded, and etc. Don't make a lot of money off of it, but I would appreciate it if you gave it a listen. Thank you so much for hanging out, and we'll try to do this again in the future. See you later.